Tonight, a closer look at another plan to provide a temporary home to asylum-seeking migrants pouring into New York City. The latest location is a former prison in Harlem. It was built in 1914. It no longer has cells, just room for those migrants desperately in need of a place to stay. And so far, more than 70,000 have arrived, costing billions. Eyewitness News reporter Burkett talked today with Joshua Goldfein of the Legal Aid Society about this latest location for temporary housing, as well as the nuances of suddenly providing care for people from around the globe.
The city is working very hard to try and identify spaces that are appropriate for the asylum seekers who are coming to New York. And we haven't seen this site yet. We're hoping to see it this week. They've shown us some other sites. We have offered some feedback on the places that they're using. They've made some changes, we understand, based on our recommendations. I think that in general, people are, of course, going to be uncomfortable entering a place that's clearly a correctional facility. But we haven't seen the space that they're going to use. We understand they were not planning to use the actual jail cells. But we'll know more when we get access to the site. We've had a lot of concerns about access to these sites for people with disabilities. There have also been concerns about privacy for people whose religious beliefs don't allow them to share space with, for instance, people of the opposite sex. And we also have seen that this population includes a substantial number of LGBTQ plus individuals, and a lot of them have expressed, not being comfortable in some of the environments they've been in. So those are some of the issues that we're going to be looking for when we get to see the site.
I was out one of the respite centers, for lack of a better term, last week in Queens, and was surprised to see the number of Africans who were there. I think there was a common perception that most, if not all, of the migrants are from Central and South America. I knew that there were some from other parts of the world, but I didn't know there were that many from Africa, which was very interesting to me.
I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about who is represented in this population. We have people coming from all over the world, from West Africa, from East Africa, from Asia, even from Europe, from Georgia, from Ukraine, people from Afghanistan. We have seen people from every corner of the world who are now crossing the southern border because that is the only way they have to get here. And, many people are fleeing persecution, and that could be for lots of different reasons. Many people are coming because they're unable to be themselves in the countries that they live in. The city now has to provide halal meals at all the places because there are so many Muslims among this population. I think when they opened the Randall's Island site, it very quickly became a majority Muslim population they were serving. And so that they quickly pivoted to, arrange places for people to pray, to adjust to the diet, to conform to what people needed.
If I were to sum up your perspective on the prison as a respite center, your feeling is, it's good that they're finding these corners of the city to put people, because we are being overwhelmed. But it's sort of wait and see as to whether this is an appropriate location.
In the Bloomberg administration, they put families with children in the Bronx House of Detention, which turned out to be full of lead. And that was a terrible mistake. We've heard talk about putting people on Rikers Island. We don't think that would work just because of the way the island is run and because of the conditions of the buildings that they were talking about using. Here, if we're talking about placing single adults in a space that is safe and comfortable for them and available, that would be one thing. But I think it will depend on what the site actually looks like, how it's able to receive people, and who's placed there, and whether they can be properly served at that site. So as we know more, we'll be able to, to respond to the city about what they're specifically doing at that location.
And final question, speaking more broadly, Is the city doing enough in your view?
There's no question that a lot of people are coming to New York, and it's straining the system. And the federal government needs to take responsibility for this, and the state also has to assist in providing support to people and helping them relocate to other parts of the state. This is not entirely New York City's burden to bear. But the city of New York could be doing a lot more to move people out who have been in shelter for a long time, even before the migrants started to arrive. New Yorkers who have been waiting for months, for years, to be able to move into permanent housing. And if those folks could move out of shelter and into permanent housing, it would free up a lot of space in the shelter system. And we wouldn't need to be opening all of these sites around town in tents, in jails, in school gyms. We would be able to place people in decent shelter until they could get back on their feet.